The truth about honesty. Truth has many modes through which it can be delivered, both gently and in ways that cut and scissor. The truth isn't always best to hear or tell, and honest people often dwell on whether or not it is right to pour over someone exactly what they felt. The number of times I've tried to craft my words so as not to hurt and burn is abnormally trivial. There's a trick to balancing tact, delivering fact without vitriol, and keeping relevance intact. Honestly, in most cases, honesty is most likely your best option. The tricky part is that it's frighteningly and rightfully difficult to deliver lightly and politely. The body seizes at verbalizing thoughts it can never undo, and what's worse about them is that they're painfully true. Bubblegum tongue. I'll clean your palate, replace it with my own flavor that will forever remind you of December 2015. And every time you taste me, those songs you wore as you strolled the streets will flood back to mind, and you'll find yourself feeling exactly how you did in that tiny snippet of time. You remember it well, don't you? It's vivid and fresh on your tongue, blazing on your imagination and glazing your gums. Saliva squelching memories through your teeth about a time that your senses will never release.
Murata Katana, the last song of Seiyoko Busujima. Come, blade, be my arm, for we have work to do, and much black blood to shed. My lover lies slain, his life has flowed into the dark Shiroda earth, and for me there is nothing left but enemies and killing. So the road will end, on this field, with so much past behind. This is where the blade will sing, here, now, this point, this one, here. My blade, my soul, my Murata Katana, has waited so long, as one we will stare into the abyss to howl in anger and desire. And so it will be, now and forever, to the death, my love. Come, blade, for at last my arm is complete.
Wind, a unique light, soft and strong, indicated this could be the place. Feeling raw, I've found warmth with this continuous liquid. Out in the wastelands, past the refineries in Cherry Lake, the blinking of the power station kept its light on for you. As winter drew its curtain, the street under the bridge grew dark and obsolete. Darkness attracts evermore. You won't find a lonelier place in here. I'll send you a kite, across 2 miles, into your hands. Do you see what I see? Morning light bleaches, disturbing the brake dust and soot. The traffic hums quietly on the street under the bridge. John, the 1,000-yard stare that could not be manufactured, assumed there were no feelings. Assumption made a fool out of me and you. A true original, your rage could not be contained. The establishment turned against, and the vitriol was sustained. Your word is enough. There is no compromise. This is a stitch-up. Do you feel like you'd been cheated?
Slaughterhouse-5. She gave me a copy of Slaughterhouse-5. The next morning, her father pulled into my drive. It took me 4 weeks to read 120 pages. But after 4 weeks, I rode 1 bus for 700 Ks. I only slept because I was stoned. And I wouldn't hurt a fly, but I'd kill anyone who tried to touch my copy of Slaughterhouse-5. This next one is untitled. Letting down the top, like a convertible, her body doesn't stop. She said I hurt her, so I don't deserve her, though she keeps on calling, so I guess it isn't over, no. When I get bored, I call her up and watch her overdose, remind her that she better keep her head up on her shoulders so I ain't no baby daddy. In fact, I'm happy, she was happy, burning rubber past me while we were in the back seat of my Falcon wagon. She could have had me. I wasn't fast, I wasn't hard to catch because I was fat. See, I just let the facts be. I disconnected my phone and then she faxed me. Antisocial, I grew up with a latchkey and I used to shout a lot. That's probably why my voice is raspy. Read the linears. This isn't Grindr, this isn't Tinder. I don't mind her, I'll defend her. And when the time comes, I will mind having to send her off or let her go. She's not the one writing the letters, so I'll let her know that she's a clever beau, a treasure trove, so be there ever hope.
Get some shoes, you fucking loser. The homeless man spat his sermon as I flip-flopped up Fitzroy Street freezing, and I thought, shit. Is this a low point? Fashion tips from the derelict. Or should I appreciate this concern from a man numb from the drink and drugs, and a woman maybe in a world that's numb from hate and fear and men, then, well, maybe numb toes aren't so bad. And this next one's a romantic poem called A Scent of Desperation. I went to replace my scented candle, and the man told me it would cost a week's rent. I said, fuck your seamus scented robbery. I'd rather my bedroom smelt like loneliness, despair, and tear-stained pillows. And he laughed, ha ha, and I pretended to, because no girls come round, at least the candle gets blown.
A pretty picture. Paint that pretty picture, pass that payment when the pain is done, and pass the package, pass that average, half a glass of Satan's blood. So paint a pretty picture, praise the pastor for the pen and paper, and pick that partner after dark to praise but not to penetrate. Devastate, these rapists get the devil's gates open. These lungs are fun, but I'm still dumb enough to smoke them. You do it for your brother, or you just do it for the moment. And while you're floating up in heaven, I'm still floating in the ocean. So you're staring at the stars, these stars staring at these humans. You're staring at her bra, but you should be staring at her movements. Fickle, fast, faint, falling where the drug is. Pass out, pass mouth, you're kissing where the love is. You're singing songs for the music to our soul. Beauty when it's lucid, Cupid's moving in control. Your blood pumps harder, your laughter never run out, but ignorance has never been so bliss, so spit your gum out. Run out, these black boys rest when the sun out. Black, white, yellow, all dead when the gun out. These feds are fed up, these feds never get up. If you're fed by a fed, it's red enough to be a setup. If you do it for the fix or you do it for the drug, you can't do it for the fame, so you still do it for the love. You talking to these demons, or am I talking to myself? Talking for a reason, probably talking because it helps. Falling, never speaking, leaving mental on the shelf. I've got a temple on my mind, but it's sentimental to myself.
They told me to picture a tree by a stream and watch leaves as they fall and float. They told me my thoughts belong on those leaves, and if I could just shake them free, my mind would be empty. An empty mind leaves space for sanity, so a full mind must be crazy. I'm annoyed by the available puns inherent in this line of thinking, and I can't stop thinking about them. If I get annoyed enough, I'll not finish the whole visualization with the trees and the leaves. I'll just bitch internally, totally aware of how counterproductive this is. So I start again. They told me to picture myself somewhere safe, somewhere happy, somewhere energetic. These were all different places. This mini meditation was supposed to put me in the right frame of mind for greater productivity. I picture some fictional outdoors scene, but the trees are unrealistic. And all I'm concentrating on is whether or not bark actually looks like I think it does. Make a mental note to check out some real trees. They told me to go back to picturing the tree with the stream and the whole falling leaves thing, but now I realise that breed of tree never grows that close to a stream, and anyway, it isn't deciduous. This is going to require either yet another species or a much stronger wind. They suggest if I find visualizations difficult, I should just picture a black ribbon in a black space, carrying all of my thoughts away conveyor belt style. I want to know whether it has rollers and what kind of mechanism drives it. Though assuming, of course, that it is imaginary, I guess it's sort of running off of me. And luckily, I don't need to worry about the noise this would make because sound doesn't carry in space. Briefly satisfied with this arrangement, I line up my thoughts on the conveyor belt and start to drop them into nothingness, one thought at a time. But now I begin to worry again. What if I need them? What if those were the thoughts that help to define me? If thoughts have a purpose at all, and if I'm empty of thoughts, how exactly am I mindful? How exactly am I still me? So I start weeding through them, which to lose and which to keep. Now I'm picturing them as plants. Which thoughts should grow, which ones I don't need. I finally found a mental image I'm happy with. To save time, I can do this while I'm actually gardening. And all of this hasn't come from my mindfulness training. It occurred to me after I failed at meditating. All I wanted was for my thinking to be a little more structured and to feel a lot less anxious. At least I sort of got the first one. If I just pick one thought and finish it, this mindfulness shit is completely unnecessary. And yes, I know this is what mindfulness is supposed to achieve. It's mostly the training I'm criticizing. I guess they were aiming for me to be more productive. I can't say that happened. I'm still very anxious. I still spend more time thinking and prioritizing than I do finishing anything. And after all this, I have one final thought on the whole damn thing. Mindfulness training is bullshit, but as with gardening, even bullshit is useful for something.
Susanna Gale. Heiress, pink dress, just 14, not yet courting. A rose transplanted from a nation of plants and plantations. Was the rose dethorned, or did you just take the pain? Painted in wood, your home was jungle. If you could, what would you say? Eyes direct, neck posture erect, challenging. Would you ask to delete? Miss Susanna Gale, tell me your tale. They gave you pink rose, pink dress. What's the rest? Did you rest easy with the sugar in your tea? Object to objectification? Were you the subject or subject of pacification? Straining. Miss Susanna Gale, your stare outlasted centuries, eyes never wavering. If you please, tell me, what's the rest of your story? For centuries, will they remember me? For centuries, you've been captivating, so am I commiserating or imitating? For centuries, between gilt leaves, you've been waiting to break teak quiet and just speak a word.
Picasso. Oh love, I have painted you. Red ruins in my mind, a pattern of light and dark, an abyss of yearning. It is as if loss has bloomed, like a woman weeping, into strange colours, sharp and unyielding. Oh love, words cannot touch, our city gone to ruin, our empire has become a graveyard of light. I carve your name into the dark side of the moon, a black ink that burns my page until the sun cuts the horizon. Oh love, the night is empty until day comes, a morning theft where you live only in memory.
Of Feelings in Fish. Part 1, Epiphany. The moon climbs across the sky, moving into morning. My eyes burn, my gums itch, my hands shake. In my caffeinated delirium, an epiphany strikes. The answer is fish. Part 2, the ocean. The big ocean blue, vast and wide, unforgiving. He wades in, him unknowing. The saltwater tendrils rise to pull him in, to drown him, to keep him. Part 3, Don't touch me. Touch, feel, contact. From their fingertips, electricity buzzes, winding its way beneath my skin. A static buzzing, growing, filling me up, stretching me out. And me, I leave my body to escape. Part 4, This is not about love. There's a poem inside of me, clawing at my throat. Things I want to say, things I want to tell you. You specifically you. But I can't, but I won't. So the poem will stay here, inside of me, clogging my throat, and I hope it chokes me.
You and I both need to change, but not me. You make eyes at me across the bar. I smile back at you. You seem friendly. You whisper softly. My friend thinks you're a 7 out of 10, but I think you're a 9. You think it's okay to rate me like an inanimate thing? I'm not something on display, not for you to judge. Are you serious? Stop. You beep at me when I cross the street, disrupting the peace of a casual neighbourhood stroll. What do you expect from beeps and catcalls? Excuse me while I take down your number plate. I'll hit you up later with a shovel. Are you serious? Stop. You put your hands on my naked body and tell me you think I'm attractive, but I would be hotter if I got a boob job. Are you serious? Stop. You now wear a woman's skin, but still see through the eyes of you. You say, she's prettier in photos than in reality. Perhaps she should get cosmetic surgery. Then she can look filtered all the time. Filtered like your mind. Are you serious? Stop. You say, she's really let herself go. It's embarrassing, all that extra skin. But she is a woman like no other. The only thing she should let go of is you. Are you serious? Stop. You tell me I look tired and ask me if I'm tired. I'm not tired, only of you asking, of everyone asking, speculating, critiquing, criticizing. Don't ask me. Are you serious? Stop. It is I in my own skin now. I fear I am a hypocrite, for I too can see with the eyes of you. I see eye to eye in the mirror, the vision all too clear. Lines, creases, bumps, bulges, this part too big, this part too small. Can I cut it away, change shape, rearrange? I'm not eating today. I exercise until I vomit. I don't want to be in this skin. I tear, tears well. Am I serious? Stop.
Let me tell you about how I bleed. We talk in euphemisms. That time of the month, the painters are in, Aunt Flo is in town. Using polite and not so polite metaphors, because the reality is, what? Embarrassing? Shameful? Something for women to hide? Something that makes us unworthy? That makes us dirty? Contaminated? Tarnished? But I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. Let me tell you about my menses, about the war that rages between my legs, about the blood and cervical mucus, vaginal secretions and endometrial tissue that I shed every 28 days. Let me tell you about my period, about the aching pain that sits at the base of my spine, about the way my breasts swell and become tender to the touch, about the way I crave salt and then sugar, my body trying to find equilibrium. Let me tell you about my menstrual cycle, about the hundreds of times in my life that I will bleed, about the marks I will make on a calendar. Let me tell you about my flow. I will bleed for 3 to 5 days. I will use tampons during the day and sleep with pads at night. Let me tell you about my monthlies. I will watch as my belly bloats, my body holding onto water, waiting for a famine. I will feel myself sway, moving from anger to sadness to regret as the clock barely makes it to a minute. Let me tell you about my menorah. I will sit still as I feel my uterus contract, shedding its lining, the one that did not bloom. I will marvel at the strength and resilience of the female body, at its willingness to discard that is no longer useful. Let me tell you how I will speak, even when you refuse to listen. How I will not feel shame or embarrassment. How I will not allow you to make me feel unworthy, dirty, contaminated, tarnished. Let me tell you how I will feel strong, powerful, a potent, formidable force that you cannot reckon with. Let me tell you about how I bleed.
Floored. Stunned by heat whisk wander the day and self-entombed in drape-drawn rooms. It's too hot for skin to touch sheets. We lie limp and listless, floorboards beneath us. Even the flies are nullified. There are wings without motor. They sit heavily on our legs as though glued on by stagnant sweat. We wait for the whisper of the southerly to come racing headlong up the coast. Doors and windows will be wrenched open. Wind will whistle down the hall, quickened by our screeches. Till then, we lie silent, we lie still, like dazed dogs do. And Mudsuck. It took a tight, unembarrassed hug warmed with whiskey. We danced in twos, a soft shoe shuffle over warped floorboards. It took 2 weeks of rain to flesh out the terrain, reanimated suspended soil dwellers. It took Mudsuck's steps through fields to go home. The heat congealed and kept our tracks, eventually carpeted with curling grass.
It was so easy, so damn easy, and now I feel crazy. Maybe you never existed at all. This is them from which I fall. Back to the place where we never met, and I never hear those things, those terrible things that I will always regret.
I am Anya Vanya, in stable now, in dark stable now, in heart of story is dark room and dark place here. Inside me is dark black hid, and inside a dark hut, bunk bed and hide now, and inside hut, black huts, and inside black huts, and inside box now, and inside trap, in dark stable now, in dark hut, in empty, in dark, where in bunk beds give 6 climb up, where in dark of Edgar Allan Poe, where no hope is, in dark, but now underground, in deep dark now, where I sit in mid of me, in midst of middle story, where I am now, where I now am, where I now am, in deep, dark, deepest, deep water, darkness, night, in deep, dark, black lake, night, in deep water, underwater now, under and not over, Negredo, dark, black night of dark as black ink now, black ink that I drink.
Wolf at the door. Superfly, super hundreds, mothers bleat approval, hearts skip beats. Flashing teeth. Dinner plate grin. Oh yes, well-dressed man, come in. The moon hangs low and sweet, and here comes your man. Oh yes, here he comes. Hunting with bespoke conversation, cut from cloth you left hanging. Just hanging and waiting, and here he comes, oh yes. Up the stairs to your apartment. People stare as he approaches. He's so fine. Lupine, pretty soon you'll be supine. Chill running down, down, down. Your spine as he strokes, strokes, strokes. Rows your boat into port. Docks, wetness clinging, wool rot. After hazel-eyed departure. Are you eating? Ingredients: sugar, roasted hazelnuts 27%, full cream milk powder, cocoa butter, cocoa mass, buttermilk powder from milk, lactose from milk, emulsifier 322 from soy, vanilla extract, Milk chocolate 73%, contains 30% cocoa solids minimum and 20% milk solid minimum, contains milk, hazelnuts and soy, may contain peanuts, gluten cereals and other tree nuts. Nutrition information, servings per package 7, serving size approximately 29 grams. Oh yes, I'm eating. Share nobility. You broke the bones of my beliefs, left me to change. I traced the shape of your absence, found I needed release from your sharp vacuum. Nuclear mistress, you burn everything to a rawness, to bleeding truth and stark beauty. I'm sick from your radiance. The only cure is more. All. Bandage. I stuck you on so long ago that I don't know how my skin feels. Little pattern pressure bandage, little fixer, little red cross. Many years have passed as we avoid strenuous activity under your formidable adhesion. Moving the broken? Bad idea. Staying still is for the best. So we said. You have gotten grubby. Charming patterns worn away in the ebb and flow of time. The oozing realities itch terribly and burrow into my bones, bleeding me syrupy slow. My dreams come with fever heat. Dragon breaths, phoenix flames, either way it's change. The question seems to be, little bandage, little villain, mind spun one, what constitutes triage? Is it a quick rip or tender hair by hair excruciation as we recede from each other? We can't stay stuck, but perhaps something else can heal. Skin in the sun, in the wind. Skin licked with canine devotion. Oh, but little bandage. I need to dry out. I need to dry out.